So here's why I quit Vanguard and then didn't. That's right, I came back with my tail between my legs, like a beaten dog asking for forgiveness after he has stolen all of the trash and unboxed it for the whole family to see. That's me right now. But kidding aside, it's story time, and I hope that maybe some people, learn something from it or don't. Now, if you don't know, 50 Cards actually is doing a massive Black Friday sale with lots of goodies. So I think in like a couple hours, maybe 24 hours or so, that will go live. You will get loads of bonuses. You can go to 50cards.shop and use the code Solemn for a discount as always. But anyway, the story time. Basically, I don't know when it began, but at one point, I got extra disenfranchised with Vanguard. I want to say really 2 years ago is when it started. I think sometime into Overdress. And to be honest, I think Overdress is actually a massive improvement on the V era. So this is in no way me saying, oh, Overdress sucks, nothing like that. It's just that it really started around Overdress getting, bad enough for me personally. Now, the reason for that mostly, it's gonna sound silly, but is the overtrigger. But it's not that the overtrigger by itself was making me want to quit. It was more so that the overtrigger was like a key thing to point to that proved my issues. And that was I felt that Bushiroad wasn't taking this game seriously enough and wasn't pushing it enough. They weren't trying to turn the competitive scene into a real thing. They weren't really, I don't know, it felt like it was Japan first and then the rest was like, oh yeah, we'll do something for the West here and there sometimes. That was, how I felt back then. And then the overtrigger, of course, was just like the last straw. And I still feel that way, at least. I think the overtrigger makes it so outsiders looking into the game can never take this game seriously. It is a uncompetitive, silly, unserious mechanic. It should be banned from all formats. Of course, premium first, because that's what I care about most. And I know enough people are like, oh, whatever, yeah, ban it in premium. Most people are neutral on banning it in premium, at least. So let's start with that. And then you'll see, oh, wow, this is a massive improvement. And then we can move on banning it in standard. But that is what I think the overtrigger is actually like. And I felt it was like a really good sign of Bushiroad not giving a damn. So that's when I was like, okay, I can probably manage to keep playing Vanguard without trying too much. So, for example, in the BCS season of 2022, I want to say, I went to one event, instantly qualified Worlds, and then went to no more events at all. I was just like, all right, I did it. I got it. Bye. I'll see you at Worlds a few months from now. And that was it. I was fine with that. I was like, I'll half-ass it. I don't give a damn. I'll give enough a damn to qualify, and I won't spend more time on it. That worked. Okay, cool. And then I went to Worlds, and of course, once again, I wanted to try for Worlds. I really want to do well at Worlds, obviously. So I got third there. So I was like, okay, awesome. And now I can go right back to half-assing. I'll just play whatever. Don't care. And then the BCS season after that rolled around. And once again, I was gonna like, I'm not even gonna really try. So I went to BCS Austria, instantly qualified for V. So I was like, okay, I no longer have to play, don't care, I'll just go to V Worlds and that'll be it. Then some friends were like, oh, we're gonna drive to the Netherlands. So I went, okay, I'll drive to 1 day of Netherlands with you, just see if I can qualify premium. So I went, instantly qualified premium, I was like, okay, cool, that was my season. I guess I'll just half-ass it again, no more events, I'll see you at Worlds. And then I went to premium Worlds, and sadly, I did not top that year. I was actually X1 until the very end of Swiss, and then last round I lost, making me X2. Very, very sad. Didn't make it in. Was very frustrated about that, actually, because I had told myself that if I won that Worlds, I would actually quit for good. Like, that's how tuned out I already was with the game at that point. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna actually try this Worlds. I'm gonna try to, innovate how Grand Blue is played, because I felt like in the Netherlands, I had already done that a little bit. Gonna tweak that even more, and it wasn't enough, sadly. Luckily, we then had the Vanguard Invitational, which was really cool, and we did win that one, so at least I got to show what the Grand Blue deck can do. I straight up had told myself, after this Worlds, I'm gonna win, hopefully, and then I'm gonna quit. And so then, once again, we went back to not playing at all until, I guess at some point, I decided, fine, I'll go to one Springfest. So then I joined Dave and Alex to do Springfest for a weekend, just having fun with the homies was gonna be fun, and we topped both days, so that was cool. Okay, and once again, then going back to not playing at all. Mind you, I basically haven't seen a Vanguard locals in years. I went to like one shop challenge once and won that in premium. Oh, and I went to one shop challenge for standard at one point. But I think beyond those two, I probably haven't seen the locals in like 3 or 4 years. So I was just out. I was half-assing. I would try to top just to get the World's Invite, and then I would quit, and I'd be like, oh, whatever, don't care. Bushi doesn't care, so I won't care. It really reached its peak, I want to say, after that Springfest. Those 2 top 8s, because I was already so tuned out. I was like, okay, and this is it. Now I will actually properly quit, because I was like, I'm gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because at least Yu-Gi-Oh! Is big, and I was just having fun with Yu-Gi-Oh! It was fine. But then the things started settling in. You know, when you actually decide to quit, when you make that mental switch where you're no longer gonna be really seeing the homies, and when you like look at your cards, your favorite cards. So for me, like looking at my Grand Blue deck or my Highlander cards and going, man, am I really not gonna play this anymore? Oh, I don't know about that. And then I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm like, oh, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Is gonna be so much fun. You know, you also seen the channel does, you know, way better. Like I make one video for fucking a new Master Duel pack, boom, 20,000 views. Oh, it's like, you know, that's encouraging. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! And then, you know how they say the grass is always greener? Then it's like you get dimension shifted, or your opponent has some other bullshit blowout that like has no business being in a serious game either, and you're like, man, what is the difference between an overtrigger and dimension shifter anyway? At least sometimes you could play around the overtrigger, but you couldn't play around this card that reads you in the game. And some people will cope and say, oh, but sometimes you will win through it anyway. But anyone being honest knows that it's just a shit card helping players who shouldn't win. Like, it's that simple. And yes, I have played with Shifter myself as well, by the way. I've literally won a regionals with 3 Shifter in my deck. Bullshit card. And there's more cards like this. So I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm like, I'm gonna be fine with Shifter. I'm gonna just work through this. And then they go, oh, here's Molcharmy Fuaros. This is just a new Maxi. Enjoy. And I'm like, man, maybe the grass isn't greener. When they showed me once again another like literally BS auto win card, and then sure, some people will say, oh, but you can build around it. Yeah, sure, but once again, 90% of the decks are unplayable the second the card dropped. So like now you have to play decks X, Y, and Z because they're playing around it. It's just so cringe. So then I'm like, okay, it ain't Yu-Gi-Oh! Either. So then, in my quest for finding meaning, I then tried Pokemon VGC. And Pokemon VGC, honestly, I can't badmouth. The actual legitimate issue with Pokemon VGC for me was that my company started doing so well very recently that I could not afford to spend the time on VGC. My company, you know, has been able to do well for the past 7 years. But really, slightly before the summer, we launched a new product and we've been working on other stuff as well. It's been going so much better that I was like, damn, if I want to actually put in the time to get better at this new thing, you know, Pokemon VGC, where I'm just awful because I'm brand new, you know, the actual noob. You know, like you started Vanguard the first time at some time, right? Now think back to how bad you were when you just started Vanguard. That's how bad I am in Pokemon VGC because it's brand new. So I realized if I want to do well at VGC and, you know, not just scrub out like crazy, but actually do well, I'm gonna have to spend like 8 hours a day. And I know some people are like, oh no, it's not that much, but it's like, no, if you really want to see the results quickly, not just do fine, not just do well at the locals, that's not the big issue, but actually if you really want to reliably top events, that kind of level, to catch up, 8 hours a day. It's just grinding the living shit out of Showdown. That kind of time I couldn't put into Showdown and into Pokemon. I just had to be honest with myself. Like it was literally Pokemon or my company. Like, and at that point, sorry Pikachu, we had a good run. So I wasn't really fine with just being super average at Pokemon, so I kind of dropped that. Very sad, because honestly, it was a good game. But so then it was like, okay, fuck Vanguard, Overtrigger sucks. Fuck Yu-Gi-Oh! Dimension Shifter sucks. Fuck Pokemon, I suck. That's where I was at. So I was like, well, I guess the most important thing is going to be my company, right? Because I love the products we create, so I'm just going to do my company. It turns out that when you only focus on one thing, it gets boring as well. So I decided, hey, isn't there a hobby that doesn't require me sacrificing my company? You know, where I don't need to test as much as Pokemon, but I can still, you know, do well at, and it's gonna be fun, and ideally maybe see the homies. And it turns out that hobby exists. It's been right in front of me this whole time. That hobby is straight up just Vanguard. So we started on this journey, this quest, and we started at point 0, and we walked to point 1, which was Yu-Gi-Oh, and we walked to point 2, which was Pokemon, and we walked to point 3, it was only doing career stuff, and we're right back to point 0, and point 0 isn't really that bad. So I then decided, fuck it, I guess I'll just play this again. But I don't have to play it with such a negative mindset anymore. Rather than going, oh, I'll just half-ass this game because fuck this game. I can just go, I can half-ass this game because I love this game. Yeah, this probably sounds bad. In my head, this sounded way better, but but now that it came out, it sounds a little bit less good, let's say. Yeah, anyway, all I'm trying to say is I'm back, bitches. But beyond that, I'm actually pretty happy to be back. It's just that I don't feel any pressure whatsoever. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm coming to destroy all of you this BCS season very soon. But I don't care. I just don't care. But in a good way. You know, I'm gonna try to top. I'm gonna try to qualify. And if Bushiroad decides to do stuff that I vehemently disagree with, sure, I'll make a video saying, oh, that's pretty stupid. Why is that over trigger not banned, eh? But where's the new premium set? Give me new premium cards. Yeah, I'll start campaigning for things I care about in this game. I want to make this game the best it can be. But if things go bad, I don't care. That's where I'm at now, and it feels great, you know? I'm gonna focus on making the best fucking audio company on planet Earth. I'm going to make the best Vanguard decks on planet Earth. I'm going to make the best fucking music on planet Earth. And if Bushiroad decides to fuck the game, that's fine. Good luck. Subscribe for more, and I will see you soon. Ciao.